Okay, I guess we're pretty much all set to go. Why don't we do this? And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to my stream. I'm Pierre, your host. I hope you're all doing A-OK today. So, my friends, like usual, we're going to start our program by going over to the computer. We're going to check out very quickly what we did yesterday, and then we'll take our day from there. So, yes, I do have that scruffy look that the French love so much. I don't do that very often. I like being clean shaven, but I don't know. For the last few days, I figured I'd just go with the scruffy look. Anyways, so let's take a quick look at our recap of yesterday. We started off by doing these little blue bands all around our frame. Then we added the first coat of colors. First of all, some orange, some red, some gold. We started with the top. We finished with the bottom part of our painting. So that is basically what we did yesterday. So what are we going to do today? Well, it's very simple. We're going to start off by putting the second coat of the orange, red, and gold. That is to finish off basically the heart. And then after that, we are going to start on the frame by doing a ton of little red dots all the way around our blue lines that we did yesterday. It's going to be kind of long, tedious, and relatively boring, but that is what painting is all about. Unfortunately, it's not like being in a band, nice and rock and roll, and anyways, it's a whole different ball game. So let me start off right away by getting the orange paint first, because I'm going to start with this top part first, then I'll do the gold, and I'll do the lower part. So I'm going to get all three of these paints ready to go, starting off with the orange, since it's right here. And I'll put it right down here in the palette from yesterday. Obviously, I'm not going to need that much paint, but whatever. So that is for the orange. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just work it so it's the nice consistency, so it glides on the canvas the way it should, with total control, not too thick and not too thin. So the orange is there. I might as well just grab a big brush right now, maybe like, probably the brushes I used yesterday, like this one right here. And I'm going to grab some water, and I'm just going to mix it in there. So, because it's extremely stiff, the paint right there, and I just want it to get to a nice little creamy consistency. So, I'm just going to work this for a few seconds. Now, if I was blending several colors, I would probably go over to camera number 1, and we would do that together. But just to add water to the paint straight out of the can, well, quite frankly, you don't have to be a scientist to do this. So let me just work this all up. I hope I have enough paint. There we go. Usually the second coat takes a lot less than the first coat, because the second coat, basically all it does is hide the brush strokes from the first coat. And that is why I'm putting a second coat on. Also, I must admit, it does make the colors a lot more vibrant. So that's another good reason. So I got the orange all done. Now I'm going to do the red. That is, if I can find my can of red paint, which is right here, actually. Oof, nicely sealed. And I'm going to just do the red paint inside the cap, use the cap as a palette. So grab my knife again, grab a little bit of this red paint. Actually, I can make quite a bit of this red paint because this is what I'm going to be doing my little dots all the way around with. So there, I'll put a good amount right there. That should do it. If not, I will add some more later. Again, I'm going to clean off my knife. Always keep the materials nice and clean, because we will have to, well, no, I guess we won't be digging for the gold because the gold is in the tube. All I have to do is squeeze it out. But still, I like keeping my materials nice and clean. And when I say clean, well, this is what I mean by clean. So you can see right here. I consider that a clean knife. So it's very relevant, right? And I guess. But anyways, so let me do the same thing I did a few seconds ago. Get some my brush full of water, and I'm going to work this so it's nice and creamy. Get that nice texture. So it just spreads on the canvas beautifully. There we go. I'm going to need a little bit more water. Again, I'm not going to mix this on camera number one. There's no point. Really nothing too difficult about adding water to some paint, right? There you go. Let's just get this all nice and ready to spread on the canvas. There we go. That looks pretty good. Okay, so I got the orange, I got the red, and now I guess all I need to do is get the gold together. So if I recall, I was just about at the end of my tube of gold. So I have a palette here, that beautiful gold. So let me just squeeze this out here. Oh yeah, definitely at the end of the tube. Well, I may as well put the whole thing in there. There we go. I'll need some gold paint later on if we start working and move forward on the frame. I'm not sure I'll be able to do that today, but anyways. So I wash my hair. It's all over the place. I'm going to get it out. There we go. And I'll grab a brush again. And just like with the two other colors, I'm going to make sure I get this to be the nice creamy texture. Now, yesterday I put a little too much water, so today I'm going to be very careful. When you put too much water, it loses its opacity. So not only can you see the brush strokes, but you can see right through it. So that's not what I want. There we go. That's nice and creamy there. Just maybe a little drop more of water. There we go. This looks pretty good. Maybe a little thick, but it doesn't matter. It has all night to dry. There will be a black outline afterwards on that. So, the gold is ready, the red is ready, and the orange is ready. So, let's get to work. What I'll do is I'll bring over camera number one, bring it a little closer. So, let's do it like this. Come over here, my friend. I'm going to put it slightly off center so, oops, all tangled up in wires here. It's a real recording studio. There we go. So it's going to be a little distorted because it is to an angle, but at least I won't be in front of the lens, something I cannot stand doing. There we go. So Let me grab my brushes. There we go. Get the orange paint. And I'll just switch cameras right now. There we go, very nice. Okay, getting a little sloppy there. There we go, it doesn't matter because there'll be the gold afterwards, and then on top of that, as I mentioned earlier, there'll be that black outline. So I have room to screw up a little bit. So that takes care of the orange. Rid of the excess water on my brush. And now I can tackle the upper part of the heart with the red. So let me just switch over again. Very nice, okay. So now we can switch back to the gold. Now for that I'm going to switch brushes, there we go. Get a brush that's slightly wider and softer. The hairs are softer, so it will spread and hide the brush strokes of the gold. So let me get this all ready to go. It is awfully thick. I am going to add just a drop of water. There we go. That looks about right. So let's switch back to camera number 1. So this gold is funny. When you put it on, you can see right through it. You can see all the brush strokes, and then as it dries, it becomes very opaque. See, the reason I paint this way, starting from the top, is that now I can put my hand here and not have to worry about getting my hands in the paint. And do this all in one stroke. There we go. Very good. Very nice. Very good. Okay, so that's pretty good. Alrighty. And now we'll just do what we did a few seconds ago, go back to the orange and then the red, and we'll be done on the heart. So I'm going to use this brush, I said. And I'm going to dip my brush in the orange paint first. There we go. Just because I have a feeling I didn't really have enough to do the whole thing. So I'll just work that little bit with what I had on my palette. Still doesn't look like I have enough. And you know what? I am going to just add a little more. Gosh, I know I'm stingy, but boy, this is ridiculous. There. That should do the trick. Here, let me throw this down here. I won't need it again today. And before I go any further, like usual, I am going to clean off my knife. There we go. Check out the computer, make sure everything is going fine. No drop frames or anything as I'm uploading, and apparently not, so that's good news as well. So, just going to add a little water, work this because it's really like a paste. I don't use orange that often except for my hearts, I must say. Well, sometimes in backgrounds. I do orange backgrounds sometimes. So this is getting good. I need another little drop, I would think. That should do the trick. Again, I don't want it to be too thin. I don't want it to drip on the canvas. Okay, so this looks pretty good. So, let me switch back to camera number 1 and let's tackle this baby. Just like that. I'm going to come close to the red and I'll let the red spill over onto the orange when I put on that second coat. There we go. Let me just make this nice and thick right in here. There we go. Okay, so we got that done. Very good. And I'll just switch over to the red. And then after that, we're going to be doing all these little dots all the way around. So I might as well get that brush ready right now and put it to soak for a few seconds. And I'm not exactly sure what brush I'm going to be using for that. I used to have one particular one. Maybe it's over here. I don't remember which one it was, to be honest. Oh, it could be this one probably. This one maybe? These are way too big, so that's not the right ones. This one maybe? So I'll put these two to soak. And like usual, if it doesn't work out right away, well, I just switch brushes, right? Not the end of the world. So where am I going to put this? In the red, of course. So, got that done. Got the hair out of the face. And now, let's grab our paintbrushes. I'm not sure which one I was using. Doesn't really matter. One is slightly bigger than the other. There we go. So, how is our red paint doing? Still very thick, yet nice and creamy. Just like nice red pudding. There we go. Okay, so this should spread very nicely as well. And I'll switch over to camera number 1 again. and lay down this second coat, I mean, thinking about other things, like right here. Okay. There we go. And now I'll just spill over with the red a little bit onto the orange. Oops, and there we go. Very good. Okay, so we got that done. Very good. I'll come back over here. I'll move camera number 1 back. Move my little bar stool back as well. And I'm going to be starting on this upper left-hand corner and work my way around the canvas. Like that, I'm sure I won't put my hands in the paint, I should say. There we go. And there is some sort of a glare right in here from the window. But there's not much I can do. I have a little bit of spots of gold right here from my splattering, you know, when I splattered the gold. But we'll fix all that when we do the black of the outline of the heart. So that is no big deal. Let me get this palette out of the way. Check on my 2 brushes that I put to soak. And I'm going to take this little guy right now, work him in my red paint because it'll be red dots all the way around. So as I mentioned before, just to be putting dots for the next 20 minutes or so, it's relatively boring for people watching on the outside. But if you still stick with me, I am going to play some music from my friends like that. There'll be some, I won't have to talk, there'll be some music to entertain not only you, but myself as well. So I'm going to listen to some music by my friend Diego, who's on the violin, Jacek, who's on the guitar, and Lucien, who's on the drum. So let me just take one more last look at this baby. Where am I here? I'm on the dual cameras, okay. That's no big deal. So I'm going to start off with camera number 1 and with the music. Yes, as you can see, dot, dot, dot. we go. Okay, I'm going to move the camera over a little bit more. There we go. There we go, it's going relatively quickly. There we go. So I'm going to pull the camera back and we'll go over to this left-hand side and continue what we started earlier. Just like that. So let me just move the camera over to the side just like that for a few seconds. And I'll get this other right-hand lane done right there. There we go. So, now we're getting to the good part, because now I can pull out my chair. So that's cool. There we go. So I'm putting these dots on very thick, of course, because I'm trying to go quickly. But that will mean that once this is done, we'll probably have to wait till tomorrow for all this to dry for me to continue working on my frame. That is the downside of going fast. There we go. I'm going faster than I'm moving the camera. And okay, let's move the camera down just like that. So let me get down the camera down just a little bit more. There we go. Not only is this fast to do, but it's also fun, I think. And I can let my mind drift. I can have the shakes, I can be hungover, and this is easy stuff to do. Unfortunately, I don't drink any booze anymore, so There we go. Let me just move this over a little bit. Go. And I'm going to come back on the upper part right here, which I left off earlier. Let me bring this over a little bit more. There we go. You know what? I'm making my life pretty difficult when all I have to do is just get a little staple in there just to hold down the canvas. And there we go. That should make things a lot better. There we go, a lot better. I'll bring the camera down a little bit. Very good. Let's get the final stretch down now. Bring that baby like that. How about a little, whoops, just a little zoom like that. And just for the editing of my movie, just for my recap, I'm going to zoom in with camera number 1. Well, there we have it. Yep. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for the music. Unfortunately, we are going to end our stream right there because the paint is not dry at all. So that means we can't do anything today. So tomorrow, what are we going to do? Well, obviously, we're going to continue our frame. We might or we might not do the outline to the heart. We could. Maybe do that first, get that out of the way. Add a few stars to our background blue. Do our black frame around that. I doubt it we do everything tomorrow. And then we have the outer frame. But obviously, I think we will definitely finish this painting by Friday, which is pretty cool. I'm always excited about ending on a Friday, like that Monday morning. We unravel a new canvas and start a new painting. So that's always pretty cool. And so let me just tidy up here a few seconds. There we go. And I'll wash my brushes afterwards. So let's end up like we usually do by giving a little thanks and praises to the forces of nature. I know it's a little corny, but an old hippie like myself just loves to give a certain amount of reverence for just simply being aware that we are alive on this extraordinary planet during this extraordinary time, even with all the hardships. But there's been hardships since the dawn of man, right? So, once again, my friends, I want to thank you very much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed the stream. I hope as well you'll join me tomorrow as we continue on this painting. Like usual, I'm going to leave you with two things. I'm going to leave you with my schedule and by saying, ciao mes amis.